Rita sat on Naomi's bed, her fingers gently stroking the silky wig her friend had just placed on the table. It was beautiful, long, black and smooth like river water flowing under the sun. "Naomi, this your wig is too fine," Rita exclaimed, picking it up and admiring it in the mirror. "Where did you buy it?" Naomi shifted uncomfortably on the bed, forcing a small smile. "I just got it somewhere." "Somewhere?" Rita raised a brow. Tell me the place now. How much?" Naomi sighed. Rita, just forget about this week." "Forget about it, ke," Rita scoffed, turning to face her friend. "Abeg, just borrow me for 2 days. I have a party and I want to slay." Naomi hesitated. She bit her lip, staring at the wig like it was a dangerous object. "I don't think it's a good idea." Why now?" Rita playfully nudged her. "It's just hair, not your husband." "Give me." Naomi looked away. "It's complicated, Rita." Rita narrowed her eyes. "Complicated how?" "Naomi, talk to me." Naomi exhaled deeply and scratched her head. "It's just sometimes I have bad dreams when I wear it. Strange things happen." Rita burst into laughter. "Naomi, you and your fear. Bad dreams? Strange things? My dear, it's just a week. Give it to me." Naomi still hesitated, but Rita grabbed her hands. "Naomi, do you trust me?" Naomi looked at her friend. "I do." "Then trust me that nothing will happen. It's just in your mind. See, I'll return it in 2 days. No stories." Naomi sighed in defeat and handed over the wig. "Fine, but if anything happens, don't say I didn't warn you." Rita grinned, hugging her. "You two like to do shakara." "Thank you." She wore the wig immediately and admired herself in the mirror. "Chai, see babe." But Naomi's face remained serious. She watched Rita with something that looked like regret in her eyes. That night, Rita stood in front of her mirror, turning her head from side to side. The wig sat perfectly on her head, making her feel like a queen. She smiled at her reflection. "This wig will finish them at the party tomorrow," she whispered to herself, giggling. Yawning, she removed her wig and lay down. But as soon as her head touched the pillow, a strange headache crept in. It wasn't an ordinary headache. It felt as if something heavy was pressing down on her skull. She rubbed her forehead. This headache is strange." Closing her eyes, she tried to sleep. But suddenly, a whisper floated through the room. "Give it back." Her eyes flew open. Her heart pounded. She sat up quickly and looked around. The room was silent. "It's just my imagination," she muttered, forcing herself back to sleep. But deep down, something felt off. The next morning, Rita dragged herself to the bathroom, feeling drained. As she splashed water on her face, she glanced at the mirror and froze. A black bee hovered just above her head. Her breath hitched. How did a bee enter here?" She waved her hand, but the bee vanished into thin air. Her hands trembled. She swallowed hard. "Maybe I need rest," she whispered. At work, her headache grew worse. She massaged her temples, trying to focus on her screen. Sandra, her colleague, passed by and stopped. "Rita, are you okay? You look weak." Forcing a smile, Rita nodded. "I am fine, just a small headache." Sandra studied her for a moment. "Are you sure? You look like someone carrying the whole world on her head." Rita laughed weakly. "Maybe I am." Sandra shook her head and walked away. But as soon as she was gone, a low buzzing sound filled Rita's ear. She looked up and gasped. A swarm of bees floated above her head. She stood up quickly, looking around. Nobody else reacted. They all continued walking, as if nothing was happening. Her hands turned cold. "Nobody else can see them," she whispered. Fear crept into her bones. On her way home, the buzzing grew louder, almost deafening. She stopped on the street, looking around widely. "Why are these bees following me?" she muttered. An old man selling bananas nearby stared at her. "My daughter, are you okay?" he gently asked. Rita turned to him, panic flashing in her eyes. "Do you see them, the bees?" "They won't leave me." The old man frowned. "What bees?" Rita's blood ran cold. She backed away, shaking her head, and ran home. The moment she burst into Naomi's room, she slammed the door shut. Naomi sat up in surprise. "Rita, what's wrong?" Rita was breathing hard. "Naomi, what is inside this wig?" Naomi blinked. "What are you talking about?" Rita pointed at her head, her hands trembling. "Since I wore this wig, I have been seeing things. Bees, shadows, strange dreams." "Naomi, talk." Naomi's face darkened. She looked away, her lips pressed together. "I told you not to take it," she said softly. Rita screamed in frustration. "What did you give me, Naomi?" Naomi said nothing. Rita stormed out. As she walked home from work that evening, a mad woman sitting by the roadside suddenly jumped up and laughed loudly. The hairs on Rita's neck stood up. The mad woman pointed at her, grinning. "The thing on your head, it does not belong to you." Rita froze. "What?" she whispered. The mad woman came closer, sniffing the air. "You carry another person's wahala," she giggled. "She dey look for you." Rita took a shaky step back. Who? Who is looking for me?" The mad woman's face twisted. "The owner of the hair. She never wanted to go." "You carry spirit for head." Rita grabbed her head in horror. "Oh my God." She ran straight to a church. "Pastor, something is wrong. I need help." The pastor took one look at her and gasped. "My daughter, remove that wig now." She yanked off the wig and immediately the buzzing stopped. Bees swarmed out of it. "Fire of the Holy Ghost," the pastor shouted. They set the wig on fire and it burned. A loud wail filled the air. Naomi screamed for a distance. Rita turned and saw her friend convulsing. My head is on fire," Naomi cried, clutching her head. The pastor began to pray, and after a long struggle, Naomi coughed out black smoke before collapsing. "It is finished," the pastor said. Naomi's eyes fluttered open. She stared at Rita, weak and broken. "I should have listened." And with one last breath, she was gone. Rita touched her bald head and whispered, "I will never share wigs again. Never." Thanks for watching my video. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, in order to get notified when we upload our subsequent videos. Thank you.